Alliance is the most accepted, ubiquitous, and unambiguously justified, like, attack on infrastructure you can do. You know? Like, but they're like, this is literally like the Holocaust, you know, of course, because they're very silly. At the end of the day, the real position of all these people, including Rob Rousseau, frustratingly enough, is just like Ukrainians need to lie down and like get raped or die. Like, that's it. Like, lie down, stop fighting, let Russia win, even though they're performing like shit. Give them the consolidation prize, give them the participation trophy. Lie down, let them rape you, let them kill you, let them take the land. Don't worry about it. Like, that's the real position. Did you say Evo Morales supporting Putin? Yeah, I saw. This shouldn't be surprising to any of you guys, by the way. Bolivia and Evo Morales have cozied up to Chinese and Russian hegemony for years. It's not new. It is of course unfortunate, you know. It is kind of remarkable, like the difference in the character between the Vietnam and Ukrainian-Russian conflict, where like Ukrainian soldiers are fighting on clear terms against an unambiguous threat invading them. They get to liberate villages, you know? Obviously it's still horrible, but, you know, in terms of the terms of the conflict itself. Whereas the Vietnam War was just like, yeah, we have to contain the spread of communism by, like, defending South Vietnam. And also, we have to, like, dump 8 trillion gallons of Agent Orange into the jungle. And drop more bombs than we've ever dropped anywhere ever before. Most of our soldiers not want to be there. No, who the f would want to be there? The thing is that the Vietnam War was basically an internationalized civil war. Well, yeah, it was the Chinese-supported Viet Cong against the, yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of like Korea as well. We keep getting involved in other civil wars. Which is probably not good. Probably shouldn't do that. Probably not great. The US came in because the French couldn't handle their colonies. Well, that definitely, like, helped, you know, like, the sort of, like, colonial instinct to protect your powers. Do you think the Korean War was bad? I mean, yeah. The problem is, like, especially today, we have to understand. If you have a very clear set of goals that are military in nature, the United States military can do anything on Earth. There's nothing we can't do. We're unstoppable. Nobody else even comes close. But the problem is, like, when it comes to nation building, like, not just the clear military objective, but the nation building part, like, okay, well, hearts and minds, you know, that we can't do. Because nobody can do it. Nobody can really do that, you know? The only civilizations that have been good at that kind of, like, suppression of a domestic culture or domestic opposition or foreign opposition, like anything like that, have been empires. And you do it by conquering the land. But America, while we are an empire, you know, we aren't looking to conquer Iraq or conquer Vietnam, you know? If we wanted to do that, first of all, it'd be insane because they're on the other side of the world and you'd have to, like, send colonists over. It'd be a whole thing, you know? But if you wanted to do that, then we would have engaged in the full scale of genocide and, you know, mass murder that is entailed in such a project. And eventually, you know, I assume this would end, you know? It would finish. But there's not much of a middle ground, you know? You can defeat an army on open ground just fine, and you can bomb a country into oblivion, but making a country agree with you rather than disagree with you is really difficult. Keep in mind that for Japan and for Germany, we had to occupy those countries, right? If all we had done was run in, destroy their militaries, then run out, I don't think that would have led to the same changes that their country saw afterwards, right? You know, it took long-term occupation. The Constitution of Japan was rewritten, you know? We had the Nuremberg trials. We spent decades and decades, like, essentially just occupying West Germany, which was the Soviets, East Germany. Yes, denazification was unique. And unfinished. We should have occupied Italy, too. Well, we kind of did. Mussolini was a lot more unpopular towards the end of the war. They joined us towards the end of the conflict. To an extent. Yeah, to an extent. Maybe we could have done it. Afghanistan was on its way to becoming a democracy, but it would have taken at least another decade. Nah, I disagree. I think the problem with Afghanistan is that there just wasn't a I guess it's like a material conditions thing, right? Like, this is going to sound very idealistic of me, but I feel like the people in a country need something to believe in for that country to go somewhere, right? Like, you can't form a democracy just by saying, okay, here's how voting works. This guy's the current leader. Vote in the next one in 4 years. Like, you need a proper civic society. People need to believe in that civic society. It needs to be an institution that people get behind. And the problem in Afghanistan is that we never gave them a reason to believe in it. The leaders, the ANA, were horrendously non-representative and were fairly incompetent in fighting off the Taliban. That's the thing. The Taliban, ISIS, they give people more to believe in than like your average, like, hyper-corrupt Middle Eastern pseudo-democracy that's propped up entirely by foreign powers. And because they give people better narratives about why they should support them, they get more support. And as long as that support exists, you never really have a democracy in these countries, which is why the ANA fell apart the moment we left. Yeah, democracy failed in Russia as well because we didn't give them anything to believe in. Why should a Russian believe in democracy or anything about modern liberal society, right? Like, why? The Soviet Union fell, everything got way worse. Then the Western powers carved up and raped their country through shock doctrine, you know? We never, like, really explained anything. And then you've got Putin coming around saying, like, okay, well, yeah, those guys, like, I'll give you guys a narrative. They do. You need a narrative. You need a story to believe in. Why did Germany move to fascism instead of socialism? I mean, that's incredibly complicated. A lot of people back in the 1920s did think that Germany was going to end up being socialist, though, right? I mean, like, the fight with the you know, am I forgetting? Luxembourg, yeah. You know, the failed revolution. A lot of people thought that it was Germany that would go socialist. You know? But the socialists were incompetent. Don't get me wrong, I like Luxembourg, but she was opposed to the attempted revolution. It was too early. And you cannot succeed in a democratic society with a socialist revolution unless you have the, you know, you have the hand of the Social Democrats, which they didn't even attempt to go for, really. Like, they got surprised when the Social Democrats, you know, sort of sicked the far right on them. Which of course they did. Baby comes in. Have you listened to the Iron Dice? Yeah. I used to agree with you in Afghanistan, thinking they'd revolution their way into a better world, but don't you find it more likely for them to turn to ISIS? Why roll the dice between Taliban and ISIS instead of just staying there? Because I think that as long as the West is attempting its nation building in the Middle East, ISIS and the Taliban will always exist, whereas ISIS and the Taliban have the ability to burn themselves out through their own internal contradictions, as Islamo-fascist societies are susceptible to the self-destructive tendencies of regular fascist societies. But as long as America is, like, meddling, as long as we're there, they have that story. And they can tell it everywhere, right? Like, not just in Afghanistan or Iraq or Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, you know, or Libya or Egypt or whatever. Like, they can tell it everywhere in the whole Islamic world, you know, that we're meddling. But if we don't meddle, I think we give them a little bit more, you know, there's more cultural leeway for them to kind of fail on their own. It's not like people in the Middle East or North Africa like ISIS, you know? But they get emboldened because you have these like lunatic, like suicidally zealous, you know, Islamic guys who get, you know, at 14 they're, you know, they're given like a Cliff Notes version of Middle Eastern history and how the West took everything over, which we did. And it's like, oh, okay, well, how do we fix things? Well, of course, we get rid of all Western influence, which includes degeneracy, you know, and like all Islamic revisionism and such. Though, of course, the ISIS people are themselves Islamic revisionists, but... Vaush, don't those fascist societies destroy themselves after they destroy everyone else? Well, they didn't destroy everyone else before. We beat Germany. And I don't think the Taliban or ISIS are going to, like, conquer the Middle East or whatever. I just think that these are, like... These are dialectical processes that have to be internally resolved. Remember that. The dialectic, you have an idea that is, or a concept or a society or whatever, that is improved when the agitations between, different interpretations of a resolution. This is an internal process. If you try to impose a solution through external means, you kind of with the system, right? You understand what I mean? Like, Afghanistan must resolve its relationship with jihadism. But I do not think that's an answer the West can just go in and stamp on them, you know? Like, guys, don't do that. Build hospitals, right? Like, of course, but we, us patronizing Westerners, you know, we think they don't think of that, right? But if you're a member of the Taliban in Afghanistan, you know, your first priority isn't building hospitals, right? In concept, your first priority is fighting Western hegemony because that's the root of, like, everything that's gone wrong in your society, right? Their top priority is keeping us from fighting with them, which is why if you look at internal recruitment with the Taliban or ISIS or Al-Qaeda or all that, or the Mujahideen back in their day, what was the thing they kept repeating over and over and over and over again, right? It was overwhelmingly like, get these imperialists out of our land every time, like all the time, like, and that's the message that they keep broadcasting, you know, like, get these fuckers out of here. And as long as we intervene, you know, I think this is a compelling message. This is not to say the Taliban have not done monstrous things in Afghanistan and that I don't feel bad about it. I just feel like this isn't a problem we're helping with. We're just like we're doing like the civ building equivalent of preventing a wound from healing by like using hot glue guns, right? Like, look, the bleeding has stopped, but like none of the processes of healing are actually like starting, you know. If anything, it's sort of just like rotting under the glue, you know. What about NGOs? NGOs can potentially have a beneficial impact, but NGOs have also historically been a vehicle for Western imperialism for a long time, so, you know, it's something worth being concerned over from their perspective. I don't know, Zar. How many decades are we talking about? Is it centuries? How many generations of women will be subjected to terrible treatment? I don't know why you're asking as though, like, America could just hit a button and fix it, you know? I don't know. There are literally, like, billions of women all around the world who are subjected to terrible treatment all the time. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't think our presence, like, the way you phrase this, it's like, you know, how long will our abstemiousness inflict misery upon them? Well, I don't think it is. I think that our absence there is a necessary part of resolving these issues, in my opinion. But nobody knows the answer for sure. It's just my opinion. Yeah, and also, like, that's true as well. It's not like when we were in Afghanistan, like, it was all liberal feminism over there, right? We occupied major cities, but there were still plenty of tribal villages where women were treated pretty shit. Like, most of the improvements that we saw to the living conditions of women were in the areas we directly occupy. But should we just do that for all of Africa then? You know, how long will the people of Burkina Faso suffer if only we occupied other cities? I mean, we can't solve problems this way, right?
A third day of Russian attacks against Ukraine has led to further destruction of civilian targets. A strike on a crowded market has left at least 7 people dead and 8 more injured in the town of Avdiivka. That's in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. And that's according to the region's governor, Pavlo Kyrylenko, who said there was no military logic for such an attack.
of them in high places, who unwittingly, in most cases, are aiding and abetting the work of these agents. I do not charge these American citizens with being foreign agents, but I do charge them with doing exactly the kind of work that the dictator wants done in the United States. The past 2 years has proven beyond doubt that no nation can appease the Nazis. No man can tame a tiger into a kitten by stroking it. There can be no appeasement with truth. There can be no reason
go, go!
Meanwhile, Ukraine. Ukraine's allies are pledging to help Kyiv for
Yeah, he didn't code switch when he talked to Trump. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Telling y'all what it is, right?
Wait, did he? Oh, God, I'm getting gaslit over here.
With the hat on, because why would you keep something around?
Yeah! Okay, anyone in chat who's like, this is just regular Kanye code switching? He's always been like, shut the fuck up, okay? Yeah, he's talking like this because he knows that Trump's a fellow brother. All right, what's this clip?
Mom was born into a drinking fountain. They told her what fountain she could drink out of.
Okay.
Now we born into a vote. They literally call it the black vote.
Yeah.
And by the way, we blood of Christ.
That's
we blood of
right.
Moses.
Right.
We're not just a color in a crayon box. And if we knew that, who we really were, we'd treat each other differently. We'd treat ourselves differently. So when you say, I'm black and I'm proud, like, but of what? What concept are we understanding? They say, go see the African History Museum. Why do they start when the boats came? Why don't they start with the drums?
When we was kings. And,
No, they don't want it, but we are kings.
Mm-hmm.
But the 400 years doesn't have to deal with slavery. It has to deal with the Bible. It has to deal with us being disobedient to God.
Right.
And that's why we farm land that isn't our own.
What?
Record labels, the NBA, Hollywood.
He did the meme? Yeah, he literally did the We Was Kings meme. Yeah, it's great.
These boys be scared. They be sitting there. Michael B. Jordan be telling my cousin, like, man, I want to do what Ye do, but I'm just, I'm right here. Or, like Kevin Hart be like, man, I like that. I'm envious of what Dave Chappelle could do. And then they sitting it at us. Me to him. Say this. Tech, blah, blah. He said this. He said that. It's like, boy, this...
1 year later.
Basically going to give him the lion's share, which thank God I didn't. 3 months later, they dropped the deal at the...
I can't believe white people fucking colonize his vocal cords. Holy shit.
There would be blood. It has to be some type of respect, a male perspective, a God perspective, and some type of community leadership. And I'm the leader. And that's what I told...
Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, I told Lauryn, I told everybody. I'm the leader. Let's look at it. Let's open up this Bible. Your grandmother like, you need Jesus.
Yeah, you need Jesus.
That's what you need. Yeah.
My favorite song, by the way.
Because praise God. Because all of this that we doing, it ain't adding up to nothing. Now God has pointed at me and said, this man worth $9 billion.
Jesus!
This man, and that's pretty good for a black man. Since I was like, the black. First of all, I said that before. We gotta take the black version off of it. Because I'm running circles around, all the other. You know what we're gonna do?
Guys.
Yeah.
All others.
No, that black or white. But what we're gonna do?
Yeah, Jesus would have loved the $9 billion net value. It's always been kind of funny to me how black Hebrew Israelites say that they're real Jews while not practicing Judaism. And they also say they were of the blood of Christ. But Jews don't care about Jesus anywhere near as much as Christians do. Right? Like, don't Jews just think of Jesus as like a go-getter prophet? Like, they don't think he's the fucking son of God. That's a Christian prophet, not a... The Muslims believe that Jesus was a prophet, but not the son of God. The Christians believe that Jesus is the son of God, and also God. It's complicated. But I don't think Jews care at all. I don't even know if they think he's a prophet. I think some Jews just think Jesus was like just a wacky guy. Just a wacky dude, I think it varies. So, interestingly, the black Hebrew Israelite is black and Jewish, but doesn't practice Judaism, and has the same social priorities as a Christian, despite not being... Yeah, it's completely incoherent. I don't know... I mean, whatever. It's like mental illness, the religion. I don't know.
Moses, in order for Moses to be Moses...
Yeah, while being in the Nation of Islam. Yeah, because there are people like that in the Nation of Islam. They're black Jews who take credit for Egypt and the pharaohs. So I guess they were both the Jews and the pagans in Egypt, and but they worship Christ, even though they're not Christian. But Christians worship Christ, but they're a nation of Islam. It's
He had the ability to be able to take down anybody else. That's my thing. If I'm a rap on a song, if I'm gonna do a beat, if we talk about money, whatever we talking about, I'm gonna be the Moses of the situation, because that's what God anointed me, that skill set to be able to.
Yeah, because if you're of the 12 tribes of Judah, if you're of Moses, that would, but you're also the kings of Egypt, that would mean you're both. That would mean you're. Well, I guess that's why they believe in Yakub, right? Like, ancient Egypt would have just been black pharaohs oppressing black Hebrew Israelites, and then, like, somewhere in an obelisk or something, Yakub is pouring, like, beakers together to create whiting, and then everything went wrong.
To do that, you know what I'm saying? In hospitals today, they would tell a black mother that the baby not finna come out today, because we are inside. Us as 12 tribes of Judah, as a member of the Hebrew people, we are still inside of our genocide. 50% of all black deaths a year is abortion. And
Black deaths?
Black deaths a year is abortion.
Wow.
And
This is a really common black Hebrew Israelite talking point as well, because they're conservative, so they're like, abortion is murder, and they think, like he said, they think that abortion has been, like, pushed by Jews to lower the black birth rate.
And Plan B was created by Margaret Sanger with the KKK for black population control.
That's not true. Wasn't Margaret Sanger the Planned Parenthood person? Yeah, Margaret Sanger was the Planned Parenthood creator. She was a eugenicist. Though, to be fair, basically everyone at, like, the early 20th century was, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, it's not good, but, so, yeah. But Plan B was a later thing. Plan B was 1977. That was 11 years after she died. Oh, whatever.
You're getting deep right now, yeah.
This is what
Oh, no, it was approved by the FDA in 1999. 120 years after the birth of Margaret Sanger.
cried about during the election. Those tears is gonna be gospel someday. And what am I doing? I know the guy from Texas got a lot of backlash for changing the laws. I'm not in a position, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is providing a plan A, an opportunity where you can bring your children. If you feel like you can't take care of them, you ain't got a place to take them, you don't have a support system, we got a place that's gonna have. I'm like, you thought that I wasn't gonna try to get killed in this?
Oh yeah, I saw this. The original Japanese who were black were invaded, infected with disease, and murdered by lighter Europeans who now pose Japanese. This is like the ultimate, the we was Kang's, like, line, where it's like, actually everyone everywhere was black. But then, like, Yakub created white people, and white people fucked over everything everywhere. Which, to be fair, we did, but the Japanese weren't black. You know, sucked up the melanin. Of course, everyone knows the story of, it's Yasuke, right? The Black Samurai? Yeah. The coolest guy. They made a fucking anime about Yasuke, and it sucked because they were like, okay, it didn't, like, suck, but they could have done a lot better, in my opinion. I mean, they made Yasuke really cool in the anime Yasuke. He's super hot. I didn't want the magic stuff. They put mechas in it. Yeah, they just went over... They were just like, what if we make this the most anime? Whatever. They did it better, Afro Samurai. Well, everyone knows Afro Samurai. Everyone knows Afro Samurai is good. Yeah, they had fucking robots in the Yasuke anime. Whatever. Real guy, though. Was a slave, did the samurai things, super cool. I think this is an actual photo. Yeah. Though he wasn't born in Japan. He was, was brought there, I think, by merchants. Stayed there. Yeah, look at the child with the goddamn samurai haircut. They trace the razor to like imitate a bald head. It's so stupid. I can't. Goofy ass. It looks fine when you're old. I don't know why you're doing this to goddamn babies. That kid's cold as fuck. That kid's ready to commit seppuku if he dishonors his family, for sure, yeah. What are we doing? Oh, it was a caste demarcation? Yeah, and I was saying it's dumb, but whatever. At least they had dope hats.
Board. The next collection.
Oh, wait, didn't I just closed... Oh, god damn it. Here. I just closed the damn thing we were watching.
Side us as 12 tribes of Judah, as a member of the Hebrew people, we are still inside of our genocide. We got a place that's gonna have, I'm like, you thought that I wasn't gonna try to get killed in this interview? Dr. Sebi's diet, based off Dr. Sebi's diet, saving not only black children, but all God's children, given an opportunity of a utopia. Because the reason why we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule is we have 40 acres, we have more people. We have more people and we have leadership with the leaders not strategically taken out of the community in the 80s and the drugs and guns put into it. And then the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? The 808 exists in the lowest chakra of your body. The majority of content that's related to the 808 is killer or sexual content. The original 808s was even off pitch. So that meant it's an actual sound in a track that you don't realize is there that is fucking up.
You know what? I fucking blame everyone around Yee for never interrupting him and going like, what the fuck are you talking about? You sound insane. Did Kim ever do that? Has anyone ever just been like, Kanye, shut the fuck up. You sound insane. Did anyone ever do that? Or did they just not do that once you're worth more than $1 billion?
Up your entire frequency. And now, today, every time I hear a car come out, it's 808. But if you think about African music and hip hop and what we was breakdance to, it was light. The percussion. It was upbeat. It was the drums. Now it's like, and all of this is a bigger, and it's like, man, you know, at this point, it's like they should.
Hip hop and African music are upbeat, the drums. What?
They killed me when I said George Bush don't care about black people. I ain't got nothing to say. You know, they SNL making my wife say I divorced him on TV because they just wanted to get that bar off, and I ain't never even seen the papers. We not even divorced. Wow. So how we? Because that ain't no joke to me. My kids want their parents to stay together. I want us to be together. But if you be together,
I agree, Dusty Poncho. I don't think he just has bipolar. Bipolar can, like, manic episodes are one thing, but I think he's schizo as well. Or sorry, that's not the PC term. I think he has like a neurological, like it's beyond just manic episodes. I think that there's like there's a, I think he's fucking nanners, in addition to being bipolar.
If you look at the media, that's not what they promoting. That's not what they want. They want it to be a new wedding, a new episode, a new TV show. And then they have people all around in my wife's ear, like a kibbutz. We need Christian kibbutz. We can have communities. Be as close. Kibbutz, like Jewish people have this type of circular community.
Like a community center?
No, it's like where they live and where we need to live, where the grandparents can take care of the kids. It's better to have a grandparent taking care of the kids than a nanny taking kids hired love.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That we move as a community. And as a community,
I don't disagree with what he's saying here.
Will not fail. There's communities that didn't go into slavery, like I think it's in Masada.
What?
Jacob.
What? Hebrew Israelite. This podcast's apparently for it. Crazy. Meanwhile, he's told victors. The Father is awakening his people up. Praise God. We are the real Hebrew Israelites. I wish everyone would speak truth instead of what everyone wants to hear. Thanks, Kanye 100. I knew something was on his mind when he said slavery was a choice. I wasn't even mad at him. If the ancestors knew beforehand the consequences of problematic Kanye waking on up. Alright, I'm calling out black people. It's finally time. My brothers and sisters. You have to call this shit out. You gotta. I'm sorry. White people can't do it. There's no fucking way white people have the balls to step to shit like this. I'll do it. I'll talk to a black Hebrew Israelite and say some nasty shit to them, okay? Most white people can't because they're weak and I'm strong, okay? You guys gotta pick up the slack. And you gotta fucking... You gotta socially ostracize this shit, okay? Alright? I've been to black community events, alright? I see the Hotep shit, alright? We wouldn't let Nazi shit at, like, regular-ass fucking Irish pride festivals or whatever. Or if we did, we'd have an obligation to call that shit out too, okay? I know this shit is rampant in black spaces. Like, it's all over the place in fucking black Twitter or black community spaces. Yeah, it's all over the goddamn place. You gotta step up, okay? Let's see what manner of Hebrew Israelite he truly is. Lest we forget, Yosef was still in position of power in Egypt, putting his people on the leading from that position. He wasn't recorded as keeping the commands, but he saved your people. Let Yah work through Kanye, and whatever Kanye decides, he knows the price for selling out or going all in. Shalom. Maybe he knew to the truth. Give the brother time to grow and pray for him. Dang, some of y'all don't even give people time to grow. Is he supposed to get the truth and then wake up the next morning with fringes and a beard to his knees? Don't be a Pharisee. How are you gonna call... Wait. Aren't you the Pharisee? How are you gonna call other people... No, because they would have thought the Pharisees were like usurper Jews. Okay. This shit is so funny, I can't take it serious. Yeah, it is funny, but, like... These guys are like Nazis. They are. Like, this weird occultism is all, like, political theater that underlies extreme ethnic supremacism and anti-Semitism. Those are the two actual ideologies here. It's black supremacism and anti-Semitism. Those are the two actual, like, explicit political positions here. It's just being channeled through, like, hyper-religious zealotry. It's... okay. Let's continue. Alright, we're going back to Wanye.
I do. Season 2, we don't have anyone to support it because I had to have Adidas indemnify the collection. The third collection, we're there. Virgil's working with me. He's got his line, but he's my main employee, and he's running the Donda design group, and he's bringing in Heron Preston, and Matt Williams is working with me, and we have our crew. And we do this show at MSG, and it's like a big hit. Season 4, I did a show, and it started late, and I was really depressed about that. Then a week later, Kim got robbed in Paris. Then I just tell Scooter, after I finished this leg, Scooter Braun was my manager at that time, I said, after I finish this leg of the tour, I need to just take a rest. I need to go to Japan. I love it in Japan. And they, Scooter's like, no, you have to do more touring. And 4 days in.
Sorry, somebody linked the ADL article on extremist factions within the Hebrew Israelite community. On like the way the cults are structured and stuff like that. Israel United in Christ. Founded in 2003 in New York, of course. A splinter org of the Israel School of Universal Practical Knowledge, founder Nathaniel Ray, aka Bishop Nathaniel Ben Israel. One-time member for the One West Camp, 71 U.S. locations, 20 foreign locations. In their own words, an organized nation uniting our people, destroyed from colonialism and slavery. Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the children of Israel. We made God angry and he put us into slavery. It's time to come back to God. In a recorded sermon on January 21st, 2020, Bishop Nathaniel and other leadership referred to Jews as the devil that the Bible even speaks of, the so-called Jews, the house of demons, and specifically call Hasidic Jews evil despots. During the same sermon, another leader disparages Jews by stating, they lie in their media, they lie in their synagogues, they lie all over the place, everything they do is about lying. In October 2020, the main Facebook account of the IUIC posted, Black people have been experiencing a Holocaust since the 1400s, and the hashtag Jewish man has perpetuated the situation. Organized a march attended by over 1,000 people. The Israelite School of Practical Knowledge, which has 2 Jewish stars and 2 swords crossed. What the fuck is this logo? This is the busiest thing I've ever seen before in my fucking life. Oh my god. True Holocaust. Christ. At least the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, it's totally incoherent. Examples of anti-Semitism. Can Caucasians be Jews according to the Bible? No. Are the so-called Negroes in America Africans? No. They are the real Hebrew Israelites Jews. The Jewish people are imposters. The suffix ish equals as a Jew or like a Jew, but not a Jew. They're all deeply mentally ill. This is deeply, just deep, high-level mental illness. I feel like all this is just blasphemy. No, what this is black neighborhoods having lead paint longer than white neighborhoods, okay? This is white people's fault. We redlined. We didn't do the proper infrastructural updates. Then a fucking bunch of black kids in the 50s licked paint. And now this is what we get. Apparently they tried to recruit Liberian warlords. Oh, hell yeah, dude. This is me. I'm always like this. Israel United in Christ attempts to recruit former cannibal and leader of a Liberian child army. That's so me. Hashtag me AF. What am I supposed to say here? Guys, Ye is like one of the most famous black people in American history. He fully believes this shit now. He's just going to spend the rest of his life propagating these talking points. People are going to denounce him and everything, but in like 2 years he's going to drop another album and everyone's going to be talking about him again. It's going to be like, man, maybe through Christ, Hebrew, Israel, Jesus compels him. And then there are a fucking bunch of people that, God damn it! Take this shit seriously. I gotta disable that function on my computer. Keep forgetting to. Not enough people. Honestly, the blowback's been disproportionately small. Yeah, it's been disproportionately small because nobody takes it seriously. Nobody takes the Black Hebrew Israelite stuff seriously. It's just like roundabout Nazism. For black people. It's not... Kendrick Lamar's ties the BHI group that tried to recruit General Butt Naked. I'm telling you, man, they get celebrities. So much of this is going to be through celebrity culture because black people and black leaders are disproportionately represented in celebrity culture because they tend to be excluded disproportionately from political power. So you have like artists and musicians and shit like that, and like a lot of these people are already megalomaniacs because celebritydom breeds megalomania. And then they're going to get approached with this, like, hey, actually, you're the descendant of the 12 tribes of Israel. You're the chosen people shit. And they're going to fucking fall for it.
into that tour, I was exhausted. I screamed from stage. I would have voted for Trump. This stuff. I was like, exhausted from everything at that time. Like the fashion show, my wife getting robbed, all these people telling me I couldn't say anything about Trump. It was just a lot. And I ended up in the hospital, and I wear that badge every conversation I can be.
This is what happens if you rob people of their heritage and culture for 400 years. I respect that perspective, but I disagree. White identitarian movements have been very prominent despite white people having been given every conceivable opportunity to develop and protect their own cultures. I don't think this is like a product of the oppression of black people. I think stuff like this will happen anyway. I just think that like we don't take it seriously because they're not powerful people, you know what I mean? But people like Kanye are an ally to, are empowered. They're even just an ally to the values that are it's a product of the oppression. No, it's not. Nope. Absolutely not. Wealthy and powerful people fall into identitarian movements as well. We just have to accept, like, you can attribute this however you want, but like, this shit is a universal human attribute. This, like, megalomaniacal, our identity is superior, all history justifies us, we are the chosen one shit. Every group does this. The difference is that, like, in broad white culture, like, at least in, like urbanite white culture, you know, like in mixed company, in most areas, like, stuff like that tends to be discouraged, you know? Not to say there aren't white racists, there are plenty. But, like, if you go to your average public event and there are people over there who are screaming about, like, the innate supremacy of white people, usually that shit gets shut down. This doesn't get shut down in black communities. White people are terrified of calling it out, and usually not even, like, educated enough to know what it is. And black people either don't take it seriously or think it's harmless or kind of don't really care because they're not in charge right now, so who really gives a fuck? But it's a real problem, and it should be taken seriously. Black Hebrew Israelites were behind one of the largest surges in anti-Jewish hate crimes in New York City back in 2019. The media basically ignored it. Yeah, no, people just don't care about anti-Semitism when it's done by black people because it complicates the narrative. When white people do anti-Semitism, you've got a clean parallel. They're Nazis, very easy to identify, easy to call out. When black people do anti-Semitism through this, like, actually we're the real Jews shit, the media doesn't have, like, an easy... The media doesn't have, like, a... The media can't rely on there being a popular vernacular for what this is. Everybody knows what it means to say, oh, this person anti-Semitic Nazi beliefs. Like, we all know what that means. It's part of the common cultural vernacular. But this, like, oh, actually they're black people who think they're the real Jews, but the Jews that we think are Jews are actually fake usurpers, and they basically have Nazi beliefs, but also they're black. There's not a common vernacular for that.
You know, put down for that. So Virgil is going on and, you know, being more and more successful and clicking all the dots, all the boxes that a black designer and black creative should click more than anyone ever. He's basically like Michael Jordan. You know, he is the Michael Jordan of fashion, literally. He's clicking all of these dots and he gets the deal to be the head of men's design at Louis Vuitton, which is, you know, aside from Hermes, is one of the most prestigious jobs in the world. And he goes in and the product is selling. Virgil was actually the third person to die of cancer in that organization. So not just black men have passed in that organization, but the third person to die of cancer that was in a higher up position in that organization. And with Paris, it's a different level of elitism.
I can't follow this lore. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what he's wondering about. His friend, who was a fashion designer, died. We're talking about Virgil, Texas. I don't know what he's going on about.
And racism. And Virgil was the kind of guy that he didn't hold it in. And I believe it ate him up from inside. And
How old was he?
40,
Orders.
early 40s.
Ready to move.
Didn't know how
All
old
in.
your friend was? Okay.
And people were like, what you mean you're his best friend? You don't know the exact age? But I don't know the date
Ready to move.
You know,
He's a young man.
yeah,
Well, that is what I said.
he's a young man. So he the level of racism, elitism, and pressure that he was under, I'm sure affected his health. And then at that point, also me and Virgil had a rivalry because he had taken my place in fashion. He now was Drake to the radio of what he was to fashion. And we had a strained relationship also. But the people I've spent the most time with in my life is my mom, second, Kim, third.
I'm sorry, he's literally just rambling. I'm not even going to finish the last 30 seconds here, but I don't want to give anyone watching this the impression that I'm following anything that he's saying. He's just saying disconnected words to me. I'm so sorry. Here's the next clip.
Anymore.
Probably didn't help that I paused 87 times at that moment. To be fair, I don't think anyone.
I'll talk to him if I see him. But I guarantee you he see me. And I have visions that God gives me just over and over on community building.
If somebody says this, it's okay to bonk them, by the way. I'm sorry, we can't keep doing this, guys. You can be religious if you want, but if you're about to talk about how God's giving you, I'm sorry. I can't. We can't keep doing this, guys. We can't keep doing this.
Attention.
And how to build these
Move out.
free energy.
Why do these black Israelites want to be the real Jews? It's the same reason the Nazis talk about like the legacy of the Aryans and like the Nordic folk. You know that like Nazi racial lore involves there being like 12-foot tall like proto-Aryans that they're descendants of. You need like an origin. The fascist you need to be like the fascist requires you to be part of a group that is inherently special, that has special origins,
Attention!
but you are currently being displaced or disempowered by a foe that you must organize against. That is what the fascist requires. And you know, in this case, we've got
Under fire.
Judah.
Move out.
So a cult? Well, this is a cult, yes, but it doesn't have to be a cult. It's just a component of fascist ideology. And Black Hebrew
Move out!
overwhelmingly fascist.
Move out.
There are a bunch of reasons and bunch of things that go into it. Historical weight.
Move out.
Kinetic, fully kinetic energy
Pushing them back, sir.
communities where we impress, we put the least impression on the earth. We're not building the new New York skyline cockfight.
Hands.
We are humble in the way that we present ourselves. We've got to rethink who we are as a species.
That fucking Weird Al. It's my theme song.
Keep on attacking!
The CIA Weird Al song. Well, okay.
Taking aim.
Yeah, party in the CIA, yeah.
Move out.
Carlson and Fox News spokespeople did not respond.
Move out.
Representatives for Ye and Louis Vuitton also did not respond for comment. Okay, great. Well.
Ready, sir.
That was
Listen
crazy.
up.
He's very mentally ill, but that doesn't
All in.
exonerate his behavior. What is this?
Man.
That racist CNN clip is really relevant now. What is this? Why do I not remember this? Kanye West is what happened when books don't read.
Among other things. Those are good issues, but let's discuss now with Bakari Solis, Sarah Setmeyer, and Scott Jennings. I'm gonna let y'all talk tonight because I've already said how I felt about Kanye, so y'all just discuss. No, but seriously, Bakari, do you think Trump is just using Kanye as a prop to win over black voters before the midterms?
I'm not sure he's using them as a prop per se, but what Kanye West has done with Donald Trump is what other people have done who've gravitated into his orbit, which is just shower him with adulation. For what reason, I have no idea. But my issue with Kanye West is quite simple. It's that anti-intellectualism simply isn't cool. And Kanye West, these issues, as you stated, these issues that they're going to talk about are issues that are central issues in many African American communities. They're very important issues. Move. But the fact is, we're not sending Kanye West to the White House to talk about these issues because he can't. He doesn't have the depth to. I want to hear what Kanye West wants to do when we're talking about criminal justice reform or prisoner reentry. The fact is, he cannot. He doesn't have that depth. Just the other day, he was talking about STEM programs and how we needed to have more STEM programs, and had to turn around and ask his colleague, what did STEM mean? And so Kanye West is what happens when Negroes don't read. And we have this now, and now Donald Trump
My exact words.
Ready, sir.
is going to use it and pervert it, and he's going to have somebody who can stand with him and take pictures.
Look at how everyone here is laughing except for the white guy who can't laugh. I love racial politics, man. I love it so much. I love how earlier when I said, why the fuck does Kanye sound so white? All the people in chat who called me out were themselves white, and all the black people watching were like, I know, right? I fucking know it. I fucking know that's what happened. I know how this shit works.
Just looking at Scott's. Scott's like, whoa,
see? It's
okay.
Like, yeah. Oh, fuck. Black Hebrew Israelite wiki page. Church of God and the Saints of Christ synthesize rituals from both Judaism and Christianity. They've adopted rites drawn from both the Old and New Testaments. Its Old Testament observances include the use of the Jewish calendar, the celebration of Passover, the circumcision of infant males, the commemoration of Sabbath and Sunday, and the wearing of yarmulkes. Goddamn right. The group sometimes employs street preaching to promote their ideology. Sidewalk ministers may employ provocation to advance a message that is often anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic. This primarily gained notice in the news through their street preaching that purportedly targeted students of Covington Catholic High School in January 2019. One student reported that the Black Hebrew Israelites called students racists, bigots, white crackers, faggots, and incest kids, and told an African-American student that white classmates would harvest his organs. True. Fantastic stuff. Least psychotic religious person? I don't even really like thinking of the Black Hebrew Israelites as that religiously oriented. I think it's full on like cult
Ready
shit,
to move.
right? I don't know. Because it's like their religion is so internally incoherent that it really feels like just kind of like a mental illness magnet. I don't know. It's a different. I don't know. What's the difference? Institutional legitimacy, maybe. But I do maintain that there's a difference between a religion and a cult. You know, there's a difference in the degree of brain damage that you need to jump into a system. I think, you know. I think there are types of spiritualism that you, even if I disagree with all of it, I think there are types of spiritualism that you can arrive at through understandable processes. I think there are religions that if you sort of grow up around them, being a part of them is not that irrational given the biases that you kind of grow into. But the Black Hebrew Israelite stuff is so jarring and discordant. Yeah, I think it requires a higher tier. Like Scientology, right? Like, Scientology may also have epistemically unjustifiable beliefs like Christianity, but I do think there's a difference between being a Christian and being a Scientologist. The same way I think there's a difference between, like, being a mildly pious Christian and being, like, a Jehovah's Witness, you know? Like, I do think there's meaningful, you know, whatever. Wacky stuff. Wait, BHI is convincing guilty white boy to lick the boot. Oh, is this the, Uru? Oh, no, it's not. It's a different group.
Sir, that's all you got for me.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay, I'm not a pastor. But you teach the Bible, right? I don't even teach the Bible.
This is why white people can't be expected to do anything about this, okay? White people are white anti-racists are such cucks when it comes to black people. They'll do anything a black person tells them. Every conservative trope is correct. Every single one of them. I will repeat every conservative talking point from a leftist perspective on this issue. White anti-racists will just fucking... just whatever. God.
What are you doing?
Against love. That's not
follow the Ten Commandments. That's the place to
It's at
start, right?
3453. Fuck yeah, dude.
I mean,
Get up, man. Hey, hold up. What happened to real humility? Hey, you already did it. What's the hurt? This ain't gonna hurt nothing. You already did. Hey, one more after that. Double war. Come on, man. One more after that, man. You already done. I don't know why you even got up, man. We got to. This is real humility. Is it me or is it the Bible?
Right? Look, you said you got the compassion, right? Hold on before you do that. All right. You said you got the compassion. Oh, Brick, next. Come on. Next. Come on, Marcus. Hallelujah.
Bend over and spread them. Yeah, why not just get him to suck your dicks? Like, what do you even get for having your boot kissed? Like, just fucking run a train on him in an alleyway or something. Absolutely cucked, yeah. One of the best parts of being like a white guy whose jobs is politics is that if I ever encountered fucking black Hebrew Israelites, I'm ready to take advantage of their naivete. They would see me and they would think, ah, a white boy who's wearing glasses and has a beard. I bet he feels guilty for his people's participation in slavery. And meanwhile, like the moment I realize they're black Hebrew Israelites, I'm preparing like the 7,000 extremely racist retorts. Oh, of course not. You shouldn't be racist to black Hebrew Israelites. That's not how that works. You can be very mean to them though. That's fine. Just don't be racist. Yeah, you can be mean though. Scroll down to see if it's white racist or black racist in the comments. It looks like it's a mix. Can I be anti-Semitic towards them? No. Also, they're not really Jewish, so like I wouldn't even... Because if you were anti-Semitic towards them, they'd be like, yeah, fuck those fake Jews. Like, yeah, I don't think it would really work, you know? You can't out-anti-Semitic them. They're very anti-Semitic. As a Jewish person, if a black Hebrew Israelite calls me the K-slur, can I call them the N-word? No, you can't call them the N-word. That's not allowed. Okay? The best, honest to God, the best thing that you can do, if ever you are presented with this very unlikely situation, okay, is, man, there's nothing fucking funnier than mocking people who think they're inherently better than other people when they're part of disadvantaged socioeconomic groups. Hey, how's being the chosen people working out for you? You know, the, God keeping your household income average pretty fucking low, huh? Fuck.